everybody. You're listening to The Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 314, The Bust. Hello, Big Chillians, and welcome back to The Big Chill Podcast. I'm Frank, joined as always with Sam and Eddie. So, boys, I know we're going to talk Ted Lasso episode 3, see if things are dialing it up a notch a little bit. But first, I had a little movie question for you guys to start in. So, on the YouGov America site, we've done it a few times, they have these polls. This was the poll. I want you to guess what the Americans think. If you have watched the film Titanic, do you think that Jack could or could not have joined Rose on the wooden door without sinking it if they had made more attempts?
I mean, he obviously could have. And I've seen all of the diagrams that break it down online when they show you the sort of 7 different positions they could have taken and it would have been fine. But I'm now guessing the percentage of Americans who agree with that. I'm going to say...
So do you think it was the majority answer? Let's start with that he could have gotten on.
I think it was the majority answer, yes.
I don't, because I feel like they need it to still be that kind of romantic ending. So they'd rather it not be, or whether he could or not is irrelevant, but they need it. They need him to die.
I think it's like 88% yes.
So the majority is that he could have gotten onto the door without sinking it. That was double the response of that he could not have gotten onto it without sinking it. 25% just don't know. They're just so confused by the question. And the best, probably the scariest response are the 20% that said, I've never watched this film.
Well, no, because you have to figure if you're 20 years old or younger.
I mean, still have never watched it?
Ooh.
Isn't it like a classic of its time?
I don't know. I think it's a classic of its time, but classic of its time is a dangerous, that's a very all-encompassing term, classic of its time. I don't think Titanic has aged into a movie classic.
Oh, you think it's aged poorly?
I don't think it's aged at all. I just think it's not relevant.
I'm trying to remember when I last watched it. Probably.
I can tell you when I last watched it, 1997. So I think if you're 25 or younger, there's a good chance you just haven't seen it. And then
I haven't watched it in its entirety probably since the first or second time I've watched it, but it's always on TV, so you'll watch like a 20-30 minutes of it, and then you're just like, eh.
Is it always on TV?
Yeah, it's on TV a lot.
I don't think I've, outside of like a seasonal period, like a festive period or something like that, I don't think I've ever seen it.
It's not a Christmas movie. It's not like Die Hard.
Oh dear.
Okay. No. I can't remember when I last saw it. What about like Gladiator? Would you say more people would have gone back to see that one?
I think Gladiator.
What was it, like 99?
That's a classic of its time.
Okay,
still just a classic.
Let's stop using this term that you've just invented. I think Gladiator is more relevant. I think what has kept Gladiator in is it's one of those. It's stayed very popular in the athlete world. It's like Entourage and Gladiator have stayed as these like strangely, and Prison Break as these things young athletes watch for reasons I don't know, but they all have to watch it.
Prison
Wait,
Break?
what? Prison Break?
If you poll, I think if we did a YouGov poll of professional footballers.
What is it?
Show,
the TV show?
Yeah. The one with Wentworth Miller.
Yeah.
Where he gets the tattoo on his back?
Yeah, of the prison. Yeah.
Because he's trying to break out of the prison.
Yeah. It's super popular amongst professional athletes.
Clues in the name. But why?
I think both Entourage and Prison Break maybe check one very important box, which is their fundamentally idiotic TV shows that would normally not. They have romance and drama in them that you're
literally for Entourage.
Yeah, exactly. And you're not embarrassed by it though, because the premise of the TV show is supposed to be manly. And so you can say, I'm watching Prison Break. You can't you can't insult my manlyhood.
I don't see the Prison Break. I've never heard that. I didn't even know it was
I'm not making
anywhere
it
near
up.
a popular show.
I'm not
Entourage,
making
I
it
can
up.
definitely see. I mean, because people, it's like the whole lifestyle, and you're an athlete, you want that lifestyle. But what's the Prison Break lifestyle? You have to escape from a maximum security prison with a full tattoo on your back?
Yeah, you're trying to save your brother. I don't know, but I'm just telling you. But anyway, I think Gladiator falls into that category of films where it has stayed popular with that. It's very quotable. It has that going for it. Everyone loves the Maximus Decimus quote. They love having that. I think Gladiator is more relevant. It's still not super relevant today. I think what's hurt both Titanic and Gladiator is that the stars actually have not remained as relevant as you would have expected them to have been only 30 years
Leonardo
later.
DiCaprio.
DiCaprio,
He's like the biggest Hollywood actor
I
in
mean,
the world.
for our age group.
well,
I don't think if you go into 20-year-olds and saying, tell me movie stars, that they're falling head over heels for Leonardo DiCaprio, who churns out a movie once every 3 years. They're not always amazing. They tend to be super long. Like, I mean, what's he made in the past few years? So he had The Revenant, that won him his Oscar for
Once
crawling
upon a
inside
time
the
in
guts.
Hollywood.
yeah,
Once
the
Upon a Time in
Tarantino
Hollywood,
one.
which was, it was a Tarantino movie.
Didn't he get nominated for Best Picture?
Yeah, but who cares about Oscar awards? Awards mean nothing.
Wait, so how do you categorize if someone's good or if a movie's good? The Eddie scale? Did Eddie enjoy it? Yes
Well,
or
I
no?
mean,
That's
box
what makes
office.
the movie good.
Box office would be a
It
better.
crushed the box office. Once Upon a Time in
Yeah.
Hollywood is his highest
Crushed.
rating movie. Tarantino.
Oh, his Tarantino's. I mean, that's saying nothing. Most of his
And I
movies
think it was
don't
like
do that
top
well.
3 of the year of that year.
Wait,
But
and
anyway,
only
I'm
2
just-
years before Revenant was Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, but you see, he's not churning them out. Like.
And then before that was Inception.
But
he had a good early start to the
I think what
decade.
you're still mistaking is those are movies that a certain type of person like. I don't know if a 20-year-old is desperate to see the new Tarantino movie. I don't think we had this discussion before when we talked about movie stars, and I think the category. I do think DiCaprio is a movie star. However, I think that our generation and older generations value his star power higher, which is normal. It's as if I'd gone to speak to my parents about Cary Grant. Not that my parents were around for the Cary Grant heyday, but they at least were when they were children. They were like, I think, I'm getting this timeline right, Cary Grant movies were probably coming out when my parents were kids. And so their perception of new Cary Grant movies coming out versus for me, it's like, I know who Cary Grant is. He's one of those old Hollywood stars, but I don't know his movies. And I wouldn't be desperate to see if someone came out and said, previously unreleased Cary Grant movie is now hitting the cinemas. I wouldn't be desperate to go and see it. And Kate Winslet not had the career you would have expected for someone
I'm fine with that.
who was the lead in the biggest movie of the 90s.
Except for just recently, now resurfacing.
All right.
Was that the question? Was that the only YouGov part of this?
I got one more.
Okay.
This one's quicker. Okay. Again, can you guess the responses? Do you know what Rick rolling is? Do you think the majority was yes or no?
I think the majority is no.
Sam?
I'd probably also say no.
I would say like 80%.
Think it's close?
Oh, no. 80, maybe 90% no.
Yeah.
Would there have been a follow-up question of, well, tell me? Or do people just have to say yes or no and then they can walk away?
And then they just play them the Rick Astley song. They don't know.
I was hoping.
You've been Rickrolled.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping if you clicked no, you just get rickrolled. But yes, you both are correct. 62%. Wait, this is good. 62% said no. 28% said yes, and 10% said not sure. They're not sure. They know.
I'm surprised that the no is that low. Because again, if I'm trying to think of generations familiar, I don't think my parents would know what Rick Rolling is. They know
No.
the song, they know who Rick Astley is, but I don't think they know the idea that you send people a link to a Rick Astley song. Don't think they would get it. And then I think younger people, I guess
It did become an internet meme.
yeah,
So-
I mean,
Yep.
if I think of the startup world, I kind of go in. People still rickroll each other sometimes, ironically, 20-year-olds, and then it is a bit strange, but it does happen
Wait, why is it ironic that they're rickrolling each other?
because they no longer think it's funny, but they think, oh, isn't it funny? I'm doing the thing that used to be funny, so
Got it.
it's I hate it. I hate everything about it, but.
No, you even like it when it first came out. Like the first
No.
time you saw it happen to someone.
No, I'm not. I don't hate Rick rolling. I'm
Oh.
fine with getting Rick rolled originally back when it was going, and even now, if a website Rick rolled me, it would bring back a sort of little bit of nostalgia, so I might enjoy the experience. But I don't like people saying, "I don't think this is funny," but I know some people think it is funny. I'm going to do it, and aren't we going to laugh at how it's not funny, but people think it's funny? I can't hate. I've said funny a lot, and the word is stopped.
You've also said rickrolled a lot.
Yeah, neither term has any meaning anymore. But now, speaking of things that might not be as funny as they used to be,
Ooh.
Ted Lasso, Season 2, Episode 3. We've already addressed the fact that we thought Season 2 was maybe off to a slightly shaky start. Did you feel as if Episode 3 put the season back on the right path?
It just didn't have Led Tasso. Like it just has less of him every episode. I just feel like, okay, yeah, they had the moment with Led Tasso, where he gets kind of the complete polar opposite, and
I guess we
starts
should
lambasting
say
everyone.
We should say, right, spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Episode 3. We are about to spoil the entire episode, so pause here and probably skip ahead 20 minutes if you want to keep listening to us and then come back for the Ted Lasso talk after you've seen the episode. But otherwise, here come the spoilers. Sorry, Sam, keep going.
No, it'll be unfortunate in 20 minutes when we're still talking about it and they get spoilers again. Joke's on you. You've been lasso rolled?
Yeah, skip forward 20 minutes, and then Ted Lasso dies.
Yeah. There was something about the episode that I thought was just a bit better for the supporting characters. Like, there's certain parts of it I hated, like the I can't even remember her name, but the 13-year-old kid in all of it that was kind of just shadowing her for the day. Really didn't like that. Didn't need it.
Nora, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I disagree with you, Sam, because when I thought, after the first 2 episodes of Season 2, I thought to myself, do you know what this TV show really, really needs? A sarcastic early teen to come in and just be the comedic force to get the series really going.
If I could picture anything Eddie would like least, I don't think I could.
Yeah,
I will say
I didn't love that.
Yeah, I didn't like it either. It was okay. Actually the best part about that was when the person who's pretty much stealing the show and they should change the name to is when they run into Roy Kent and he's on the street with his niece and they're just walking and just the stuff he says to her is just classic. Like at the very end when he's like, "Hey, do you want to go to my podiatrist appointment?" And she's like, "Oh, can I please?" See what I mean? Like just the way, just the jokes are so good.
That dialogue bit for me was just when she was like, "Can we have ice cream for dinner?" And he's like, "No, that's dumb." Like it just went really well.
Thank you for
But
making me set boundaries.
No, Roy Kent is stealing the show. Can't have
Stealing
enough
it.
Roy Kent. And I'm close to just thinking, realize now that this is a sinking ship and the Ted Lasso experience and go to the Roy Kent spinoff straight away.
oh, it's
I wouldn't be
happening.
opposed.
It's
But
Roy
I
Kent's
agree
happening.
with you, Sam, that Ted Lasso's not in it enough. And it again, it means that these little doses you get just of him just seem super formulaic. And all you get is the weird reference, strange positivity over. I, I also think as a character, he's suffering slightly from the fact that he's being met with more realistic responses, which again, after when we were talking about season 2 and saying everyone kind of wants to be Ted Lasso, but then I think in real life, Ted Lasso would be really annoying to work with. I think we're now seeing people respond to Ted Lasso as if he's really annoying to work with, which is kind of a downer. I also hated the Led Tasso premise.
I knew
Just
you would.
hate it. I hated that was 5 minutes of the show that I would have set on fire.
The only part I liked was when he said, "Touch your toes." No, touch each other's toes. Just because if I were on the field and someone said that, I would have the same response where they were just like, "Wait, what? What did you say? I don't get it."
It led to nothing, right? Because obviously then the therapist comes out and says, "Oh, you did it for XYZ reason." He was like, "Yeah, but it didn't anyway because Sammy had to go at Jamie because they cancelled practice because of it." So he actually stopped it being the reason why he would do it in the first place. And then no one cared anyway. They lost and Jamie's already part of the team, but it wasn't because of what he did. It was this Dubai Air thing. So the
But I think
whole
that's
thing
the
just felt
joke.
pointless.
But
No,
I
but
think
the
that's
whole
the joke,
thing,
right? Because she's like, it never has worked, has it? And they're like, no, it hasn't. But they think it's going to work this time, and they think it
oh,
does, but it
that's
But
actually
then that's
didn't
the
oh,
work.
that's
but then
multi-layered.
Frank,
Like,
it's not
But no,
funny.
I think that's exactly no. It's not
But
funny. It's not.
So it's not funny, and it didn't push the plot along. So if you
Yeah.
were in the writer's room and they've put this together, you'd say, so we're going to have 5 minutes of the show that doesn't advance the plot, and it's not going to make anyone laugh. Apart from, I'd agree with you, touch each other's toes was mildly amusing. Also, just the very childish premise that he's sort of blacking out into this character, which I think he did once in season 1 as well. But they're treating it as if he's never done it before within the club. But I'm pretty sure in season 1 it happens too.
um, oh no, but it happens more seriously, right? When he's had drinks and he kind of goes into that where Ned walks up to the hotel room and he's just about to sign the divorce papers, and he basically screams at him to like get out. Like that
Yeah.
kind of came across as like a flipping moment, but he did it because of like alcoholism and borderline depression.
Well, not
divorce.
alcoholism. He's not an alcoholic,
Okay.
Sam.
Well, he okay. He was drunk, and yeah, okay. That's
I'm not going to walk
I'm
into every
judging
bar
it.
I see a drunk
Mass
person and go,
judgments.
alcoholic, alcoholic.
But to be fair,
alcoholic.
he does drink every day in that bar. Like every day, it's a drink.
So does Eddie. He's not an alcoholic.
I mean,
Or
most
is he?
days. And Sam, you drink most days.
I haven't drunk them today.
Today? Did you drink yesterday?
Absolutely not. 2 in a row. Basically
This is a
clean.
good. This is a good time to segue into Sam. This is now an intervention podcast. You're first on the list.
But yeah, I think.
See now, Eddie, I will say I don't mind that it didn't do much if it had a lot of good jokes and laughs. If for 5 minutes you didn't really push the plot along, but it was like a really good idea, and how can we set this really great, funny idea up, regardless of whether it means something? I would have been okay with it, but the fact that it didn't stick, like you said, there was maybe one mildly funny joke out of the 5 minute bit of the whole Led Tasso. That is where it suffers. Like, if you're going to throw in something that doesn't move the plot along, it's got to be funny.
Yeah, I mean, yes. And I just think, and you don't want to dissect comedy ever. And especially, I don't want to be dissecting the comedy of very successful comedic actors and writers. However, if you just look at it and say, So for the next 5 minutes, the premise is the guy reverses the first letters of his first and last name. He puts on sunglasses. He then goes into some trance where he's got the complete opposite personality, and still nothing he really says makes any sense. And he's just annoying. It's the kind of thing that if I was watching it with a 5-year-old, if I was watching children's television, I would think, yeah, this seems about right. This is the comedy that a 4 or 5-year-old would understand and think was hilarious. And the overall nature of the show is not highbrow comedy by any stretch, but there are a lot of jokes that are a little bit more sophisticated, and then there's just the general humor. So it's weird to suddenly drop down to what is essentially terrible slapstickish comedy that wasn't even slapsticky, but not a great moment for the show.
Yeah, and then the whole like the ball's your girlfriend thing, I didn't even get. I don't know if there's like a joke in there that I didn't get, or if it just really was that bad.
Didn't even make sense in the sequence that happened.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I guess the main theme as well being this relationship between like Sammy and this oil company that destroys the kind of Nigerian Delta, who own Dubai Air, who sponsor Richmond, and they kind of made all these semi-political fake statements. What did you think of that plot line then?
I think that's an okay plot line. I think that wasn't a bad way of injecting for a couple of episodes a little bit of what's going to happen. There's going to be a fallout, obviously, from the political statements. I guess it lightly touches on the concept of professional athletes making political or social statements in a match, which obviously is a big thing at the moment. So it's a way for the show to sort of represent current sporting environment without going to a topic that's too serious. Not to downplay the idea of the environmental destruction of Nigeria, but it's maybe not as big of a topic as some of the other things that are being protested around the world. But I think that was quite good. I just didn't then like the interaction between the owner and the chairman of the oil company.
What, when it was like all flirty and like the only way
I didn't mind the flirty thing seems realistic. That seems like the dynamic, unfortunately, the dynamic that a lot of businessmen might have with women they come into contact with in a business environment. Fine with that. Didn't like the idea that he just texts back, get rid of him, and then they discuss releasing him, not selling him. As if they've suddenly become completely unfamiliar with the concept of the football world. And they're like, we're not going to release him. It's like, I think he would probably be fine with you just selling him, not trying to cancel his contract.
And
also another premise
consulting the 13-year-old child on all of these matters as well.
Also another premise of the show that really bothered me. Premier League clubs have clauses in your contracts where your wages are reduced when you get relegated. You get usually around a 25% wage reduction when you go down. So the fact that we're paying players Premier League wages, but we're no longer in the Premier League, which if you then also wanted to get down to it, they also would have the parachute payments in their first season. And again, it's not a show about football, but just sometimes when they try and inject a little bit more of the football aspect and they're really wide of the mark, it kind of troubles me slightly. It just pulls me out a bit, where it suddenly feels like these are Americans trying to think what a football club might be like.
The thing that got me as well was you look at all the players celebrating the defeat. So it was what, eight draws in a row and now a defeat. So if we're going to talk semi-realism, all these people, from the guy from the Independent and all that, they can see this happening. They can see like the environment and things like that. Should he be sacked?
He definitely in real life would be sacked because they've now got 8 points through 9 matches as a relegated side. So they would be well in the bottom half of the championship 9 games into the season. Automatic promotion would basically be nearly impossible at this point. Playoffs, if you go on a really good run, are still there. And that's where we're going, right? I mean, it doesn't surprise me that he's not sacked because the whole idea of the show is now that the relationship between he and the owner is so strong that I can't imagine a scenario in which he is. sacked. Although, wouldn't that be great if just Ted Lasso just gets sacked, new manager comes in, we don't see any more Ted Lasso anymore, even though this show's still called Ted Lasso, just Roy Kent as manager.
Just Roy Kent as manager is called the Ted Lasso show. But also, she can't sit there as the owner and say this championship level club with Premier League wages and then sign Jamie Tartt. Like, is he just playing for free at the moment? Is like,
I guess no one else wanted him, so maybe.
Which I also don't get. Wouldn't he just also go back on loan? Why would City straight up release him? Wouldn't they just throw him back on loan?
They didn't explain that bit, but maybe his contract was
normally
expiring.
What they would do in that situation if like they weren't happy with a player, they would just put him on loan again instead of just ultimately getting rid of a player who was really good the season before and just isn't clicking right now, like Lingard.
I mean, there's two things. A, his contract might have been expiring, or B, he would have had a massive breach of contract by going on a reality TV show when he should have been playing for the club. I think that probably would get your contract terminated everywhere. Because otherwise they'd still be paying him money. So I think it's not unrealistic to think that he's a free agent. It's just unrealistic to think that the only team that might have been... I think all of the bottom half of the Premier League would probably have considered bringing him in. Now, I get the idea that he would choose Richmond over them, but they could have had a moment where he says, look, I could go back to the Premier League, but I really want to go. This is where I felt at home. I want to go to Richmond. That wouldn't have been unrealistic to me. Not that the show is supposed to be realistic. We know this. It is a championship football club that has 6 members of staff and has a 13-year-old girl as a consultant on major financial matters.
So here's the question for you guys. Did you like the idea of Banter? That dating app on there that they created and kept making a point of?
To the degree where I thought, is this a real thing and this is somehow a real promotion? No, I didn't, but I just...
It's not. I just Googled it now that you said it.
But you know what I mean? I really felt like they were pushing it so hard where I thought, has a dating app come up with a really intelligent way of promoting itself, which is to have a TV show where everyone uses the dating app. Pretty smart way of actually getting an app out there.
Did you call the grinder joke as soon as you heard of Banter? Did you call that they were going to have a grinder joke in there?
No, what I thought was, here it comes for Sam, is this guy's going to turn out to be gay.
They've kind of made it open for that by bringing in Grindr.
Yeah.
Because
so he's addressed, like Grindr, everyone kind of gave him the look. And then I think this is where that character is going.
I mean, they're trying to tick every other box. So I guess it makes sense to tick one more, right?
So I guess, I mean, I'll just kind of sum up. Overall, for me, I actually think this was maybe the funniest episode and still had some more serious tones with the whole Dubai Air part. I think, obviously, we said it a bunch of times, like Roy Kent is just, every time he's on screen is great. I think bringing Jamie Tartt back has also added some comedy, like the scene they had in the locker room where they were saying all the things he's done to people. I thought that was a pretty funny scene as well. But I agree with both of you. I think the Ted Lasso comedy is what's now lacking the most. I think everything around Ted Lasso is funny and still good, but I think the Lasso centered part, even with him and Coach Beard, like their interactions in the season 1 were so funny, and this year they just aren't clicking like they were. So for me, I think it was a better episode than the previous ones, but only because I think you have Jamie and Roy now, who are both really funny characters.
I think you're actually touching on an important point there, which is part of what the show may have been missing so far in season 2, is that none of the players were funny characters. The Sam character is endearing. I like him as a character, but he's not amusing. And all of the other players, in the last season, you had Roy Kent as a funny character within the team, and you had Jamie Tartt as a funny character within the team. And then everyone else was basically only funny in specific situations, their actual interactions and dialogue was not that funny. And I think you're right in that bringing Jamie Tart back in, it brings in the possibility of having funny interactions coming from the team itself. Whereas up until now, you've moved away all of these player coach interactions. It's sort of just either meaningful or meaningless. And now you might actually get some humor in there.
Yeah, it's fine. It's not going as tragically as the Mighty Ducks, so I'll continue to watch it. It'll be good. But interestingly enough, it just seems to be changing each episode, right? So the previous one we were talking about how the next 4, 5, 6 episodes are how's Jamie going to come back into the side? Then blink of an eye, he's now back in the side and seemingly accepted.
But I said
and they've got a different.
I said that after
now.
episode 2. I think they wasted that development as a story. They've addressed it now in 2 episodes, because not only did they dealt with his mindset, you now fully believe that he wants to be there and that he's committed to being the type of player he needs to be in order to be successful. I have no doubt. Again, I'm sure there'll be hiccups, but I have no doubt that that's the case. And now, the team has accepted him again. So they've killed that whole storyline is gone in what amounted to around 16 minutes of television.
I think there'll be like a takeover at some point, a takeover attempt, because they've now just annoyed this chairman of like this big oil company, but also they've got his ex-wife in it as well. Like, I think there's going to be a takeover attempt.
No, that's a good prediction. Not his ex-wife. You mean her ex-husband?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
So I agree, because they have to bring him in. The professor from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He has to come back into it in some capacity.
Wait, that was Giles?
Yeah, that was Giles.
No way. I did not click that.
Yeah, the ex-husband is Giles.
Oh, Giles was great. He just looked nothing like him.
I think he looked exactly like Giles plus 25 years. I'd actually say he aged pretty well.
Ah, for sure. No, okay. Bring him back. Great actor.
But yeah, I think he's too significant of a character, and also he's too big of an actor to not make some reappearance. So I do agree with you that this is now set up the drama that the chairman of the chairman of the oil company is his friend. So it sets up this idea that they're going to lose the sponsorship, and then maybe he comes in with some sort of takeover bid, or he comes in as the savior. There's 1 or 2 ways that this could come about. Part of me thinks that the way Ted Lasso goes is that in the end, everyone becomes a good guy. That's kind of how the show moves. So maybe Professor Giles returns, having first fought off the vampire invasion, and now he comes in to save AFC Richmond.
So, I guess one prodigal son has returned to a football club.
Well, it's a good transition.
My segue has been ruined.
but the only thing I will say, I kind of hate that we now spend the episode by episode reviews kind of shitting on Ted Lasso. I do still enjoy it, and I love season 1. It will forever for me be a very excellent season of television. And I just hate that now people might think, we got new listeners tuning in and they think they're reviewing this TV show just because they hate watch it. And it's actually that I love watch it, but that I'm hating certain parts of it in season 2. But I almost feel bad being so negative. I really, really want to like more of it, but I'm just not at the moment.
Well, I'll tell you what, next episode, we're going to really like it. We're going to come in super positive. But I agree with you. I actually still think it's one of my favorite shows on television, if not my favorite show right now to watch on a week-to-week basis. It's probably the only one, but...
Yeah, I think it's my only one too. So yes, it's both my favorite and least favorite, but sure.
Let me tell you, I'm rewatching for the 3rd time Friday Night Lights because we mentioned it like a month ago, and it is definitely better than Friday Night Lights.
So Jamie, for fuck's sake, I'm just getting it wrong now. So we've been talking about one prodigal son to Richmond.
Wait. One more thing before
Oh
you
my
do that.
God.
No, I'm just messing with you. Go ahead.
One prodigal son is leaving Barcelona in the form of Lionel Messi. So that obviously was hot off the press on our last podcast, but he looks like he's already found a club. And did you guys see the interview? His
I
exit interview?
saw his press conference. Yeah, I saw him cry. I have to admit, every time I hear Messi speak, his voice doesn't sound right to me. But aside, if you see what I mean,
I
it's
kind
just
of get
not what
that.
I picture his voice being. And every time, you don't hear him speak very often, so that's part of the reason I can never really get used to it. But yeah, I saw him sob. I kind of hated the fact that he cried. Not because there's anything wrong with someone crying when a significant moment in their life comes to an end, but he is the reason this is coming to an end. I hated that he said, guys, I said I'd take a 50% pay cut. I did everything I could. I did everything. I mean, you can't expect me to survive on only, you know, 250,000 a week. I mean, come on, I've got bills to pay. Please, just just be kind to me. I just there's nothing I could have done. I love this club so much, but there's just no way I could have stayed. It's impossible for me. But
Or he's got no bills to pay. No
yeah,
tax bills anyway.
exactly.
um, you know what? I hadn't really thought about that, but the more you say it, the more I kind of agree. Like it could have been easy for Messi and his agent to not fiscally destroy Barcelona, yet simultaneously, if he truly loved the club and wanted to stay longer, he could have made more concessions. Like the agent, for example, let's be honest, would have been getting an absolutely disgusting amount of money from this. They didn't back down. There was clearly no backing down from it. And now they're just going to go to the other club very quickly by the looks of it, who will just pay him more money.
Right.
So,
I think that's an important point. If money wasn't the real driving factor in all of this, he wouldn't have ended up at PSG. So there's he I can't buy the sob story of gosh, this means so much to me. I wish I could have stayed, but I can't. There's
he's
no way. And I'm
Yeah,
sure
if it
he
wasn't about the money, he would have went to that. What was the club that was 12-1? His
Newell's
boyhood club.
Newell Old Boys in
yeah,
Yeah,
Argentina. Like,
yeah.
but that's the point, isn't it? To be crying saying that, look, I'm happy with someone being emotional about what was it, the club that he's been a part of since the age of 13 or whatever it was, in terms of like growth, development, love for the club, playing for the club. But then to already have this press conference being set up under the Eiffel Tower at the same time that you're doing that just seems a bit strange in terms of like, oh, it must be so
Well,
tough to leave this club, but I have already signed for Paris Saint-Germain.
even in the press conference, he said there's other teams other than PSG. He tried to downplay the idea that this was already a done deal. Clearly, it was already a done deal.
Oh,
I
for
mean,
sure.
not that it would take long to get a Messi, because obviously on PSG's end, they're going to jump through every hoop they could to get him in, and I'm sure medicals are going to be done super quickly and everything. But still, clearly, this was already decided. I mean, the reports in Paris were yes, they were preparing for his arrival. This was before the press conference was taking place, and yeah, sometimes press reports like that are wrong, but it was everywhere. Yeah, they're preparing things at the Eiffel Tower for his for unveiling Messi, which was surprising because it was coming on the heels of Paris putting on quite a big event for the end of the Tokyo Olympics at the Eiffel Tower, because obviously Paris is hosting in 2024, so they were trying to do this sort of transition. So there was a big event at Trocadero on the Eiffel Tower for that. So a lot of planning had to go in to then dealing with the Messi situation, which was occurring, within 48 hours of that taking place. So it just all felt a little bit slimy to me. And I wasn't the biggest Messi fan before, and I'm absolutely out on him now. And the fact that he's then gone to PSG, I want nothing more in this sporting world this year than to not see PSG win the Champions League. That's it.
I can get behind that. But you like, I think a good example of something similar that happened, but not on the scale of Messi, is Grealish. So he came out and obviously had his press conference as well, and he basically said, "Yeah, I was in tears because it was my boyhood club. It's a team that have helped me grow and really become the player I am through kind of trust and understanding and training and putting faith in him. And I hope people understand the reason I'm leaving." Like, I fully understand all of that rhetoric. He didn't cry in public. He just said that we all saw that. Like,
I'm fine with someone crying in public. I'm just not fine with someone saying I did all that I could to stay, and then because I was willing to only take. And look, I'm not begrudging anyone the ability to make a ton of money, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with him saying that he wouldn't take more than a 50% pay cut. That's all of that is fine. It's just saying I did all that I could. I mean, you can't expect me to survive in Barcelona on minimum wage. So, it just seems really out of touch with, particularly in the current climate that the world is in, with people having lost jobs and had, income slashed and all sorts of things, to sort of try and turn yourself slightly into the victim almost in this scenario, which I agree with you. Grealish handled it much better, and Messi could have done the same, which is, I love this club. I'll always be a supporter of Barcelona. Who knows, maybe I could come back in the future. I think it's exciting times for the future of Barcelona, but my journey here has come to an end, and I hope you can all understand why I'm leaving, because the situation the club is in, it means that I can't stay here, and I hope Barcelona do really well, but I'm off to PSG. Good luck, everyone. If you don't understand, I understand why you don't. Which, Grealish handled that perfectly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, maybe I'm just partial, but I think Grealish handled it better because he's just a better human. Like, he seems like a more genuine person. He seems like a better character, better personality. Like Messi is Messi, right? And so I think Grealish handled it better just because I honestly think he's probably a better person in general and is more grounded.
I mean, it helps that Grealish has a personality. I mean, Messi is just a wet sponge that's really good at football, but
Impressive.
No, but like, he has zero personality, and I do understand why when you're super famous you have no personality, because basically the fear of your personality getting you in trouble could drill all of the interesting parts out of you, certainly from your public persona. So I do. Messi has managed to just be nothing, and as a result of that gets very little attention given the level of stardom he has. I mean, his only scandal is the fact that he just can't pay tax. But aside from that, personality-wise, he's just sailed through life so far. But, I don't... And then also a double blow for Barcelona, right? Because they sign one of Messi's best friends in Aguero. Gotta suck for him, because he must have thought, finally I get this chance to play with this guy I've developed this really close bond with over my time in Argentina. Finally, we're going to get to play together. He leaves. I get injured for 10 weeks, and Barcelona's season is almost over before it started.
Is hanging by a
He
thread.
was so upset he injured himself.
Yeah, he pulled the Neymar. I cannot be bothered with this. Let's just say I just tweaked my hamstring, and I'll see you guys in a few weeks.
Well, segueing from a athlete who has no personality to one who actually has a very good personality, Peyton Manning was just introduced into the Hall of Fame yesterday. So a few things. One, did you see the statue, or the bust as they call it?
I saw a
lot of backlash.
I did, yeah.
I saw the bust.
They were very favorable to his forehead size and everyone noticed it, which I don't know how you couldn't, because the first picture you see of the statue is him next to it, and it's
a bust. You got to keep using bust. It is not a statue. It's just his head.
His head.
Wow, he's shorter than I remember.
Well, I don't think they've been that favorable in the forehead department. I do think they've chosen not a current Peyton Manning. Like that looks like the bust to me looks like Peyton Manning, say when he was 30, which is fine. Take prime Mac. It's one of the things that bothers me when people die and in your obituary or you attend a funeral and they have a picture of them when they're 85. Have a picture of them when they look good. I don't see why we have to see here's the last picture we took before this person died, looking absolutely awful, and now stare at it for a while. Remember them as they would have wanted you to. I think with the bust, it looks like it's pretty. I mean, look, the Hall of Fame busts are not exactly the most sort of picture perfect in the first place, anyway.
Why does he look so angry in it though, as well?
That's
They
the
gave
only
him a
thing.
little like eyebrow fro or whatever you call it.
Yeah, I guess they probably said, "Hey, we're gonna have this bust probably end up being directly opposite to Tom Brady, so we want to have the look on your face that you would have had as you watched him win Super Bowl after Super Bowl."
Yeah, he had a Tom Brady joke in there in his speech. He also had a good Ray Lewis joke in there. So the question I had was, now that he's officially retired, we don't think he's coming back again. Do you think he will stay? But what I say again was you kind of thought he was going to not come back that last season with the Broncos, and he did. But do you think he will make his way?
Were there murmurs that Peyton Manning was considering coming back until this Hall of Fame induction?
You never know.
And
I'm sure he had gotten calls.
He can
I'm
still
sure
come
he had
back.
gotten calls.
Can you still come back after? Has anyone done that?
Yeah,
no, they smash the bust.
It'd be interesting to know. Could you come back?
I'm sure you could.
I mean, but what do they do to your Hall of Fame? Because the whole point, right, is it's 5 years after you retire, right?
You've actually got to wear the bust on top of your head. You've got to have like a double helmet.
Imagine you came
Michael
back.
Scott, you have to put on your shoulder.
I mean, it's not. I can't imagine how you would do it. Imagine you came back and then did something playing that removed you from being a Hall of Famer.
Ooh.
Like if you were on the threshold.
The bust.
Yeah, if you were on the threshold and then like Eli Manning, right? Probably getting into the Hall of Fame, but he's sort of a threshold quarterback. He's only going to get there because of the 2 Super Bowl wins. Imagine he comes out of retirement with the Giants 6 years from now, comes off the bench in the Super Bowl, just throws 9 pick sixes. Do they suddenly does the clutch argument, they go, oh, we're just going to quietly remove the Eli bust now?
Why aren't they allowed to have any sort of involvement in what the bust looks like? Why does it have to be a surprise to them?
I guess it's...
I'm sure they kind of do.
I guess it's part of the charm that when it gets unveiled. I think they do have some because didn't Deion... No, he put it on, actually. I take that back. Deion
What if it was so horrendous that you were embarrassed? I'm sure... I can't imagine it's completely blind.
I think it's completely blind.
But do you think they get a choice of like photo? They're just like, here's, I don't know, 3 photos and do one of these 3 or something like that.
Maybe you get to pick.
Do they get choice of the artist?
I think
I want the one that did
person.
Cristiano Ronaldo's.
Yeah, I don't want that guy.
Oh, you do want that guy. Okay, we'll get him. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know what involvement. I think there's no involvement, really. I think it's just the trust that the institution will deliver a nice bust. But I remember Deion Sanders when
Nothing like a nice bust.
Nothing like a nice bust to look at.
When Deion Sanders got in, he tied the bandana around the head of his bust.
Did he?
Yeah.
We've got to stop saying the word. It's pointless now as well.
Getting back to the question originally. Right now, he's signed on to be an announcer for the Monday Night Football. But let's say 10 years down the road, do you see him back in the NFL
As a quarterback, 100%.
Yeah.
as a coach, as a general manager, as a president, as an owner, or could he be the next commissioner?
I don't think he'll be the commissioner. I think he'll come back probably as a president. President strikes me as, I'm not to insult the work that NFL presidents do, but a lot more of a face of the franchise kind of thing, and you're there to wine and dine potentially prospective free agents to get to say, hey, look, you get to see Peyton Manning walk into his office sometimes and go into him, he'll come into the locker room and give you some, wise words and advice. I don't think he'd ever be a coach. He doesn't. I think if you're going to go down the coaching path, you do that pretty much straight away. Ownership, part owner perhaps of an expansion team, maybe. I could already see that happening as a way of getting people really on board. But it's a lot of money to own an NFL team, and I know that Peyton Manning has a lot of money, but it's a lot of money to own an NFL team.
Yeah, maybe all the Mannings put in together.
Yeah. To
create like a Manning franchise.
Yeah, I could see him being like the next John Elway.
What if the Mannings bought Washington and then called it the Washington Mannings? Is that the best resolution? And then just the logo is just a forehead.
It's
just
busts.
A forehead.
It's just this. It's like the four-finger forehead.
Yeah, it's like the Adidas stripe, but it's just 4 lines across a forehead.
This is 4 fingers across the forehead. That would be. I would instantly get you a hat for that.
And then that
would be your next gift. Eddie's next gift would be the 4-finger Manning hat.
Then they draft Cooper Manning's son when he gets into the NFL, so that it's owned by the Mannings with a Manning at QB. I mean, they got to make this happen.
Could they move the franchise? Is there a place in the US called like Manning?
Probably.
Manning.
They just rename Washington. They just rename Washington Manning, and Peyton Manning becomes president.
There's a Manningville in New York. There you go.
Okay, so they buy the Giants, or the Bills.
Eli's fine.
Or the Jets, and they move them there. Did you see the Bills are the latest team to try and hold their local government hostage over improving their stadium or building themselves a new stadium? Asking that the taxpayers pay for 100% of the new stadium, or I think significant work that needs to be done on the Bills stadium. And they also own the Sabres, the NHL team. So I think they're pushing their opening gambit is pay for 100% of the Sabres and 100% of the Bills. Otherwise, we're leaving. And I'm sure it's going to end up with 50% paid by taxpayers or whatever. Because there's no way the people of Buffalo are going to let the Bills leave. Like there would be riots. I mean, there's riots before their games anyway. So there would be definite riots. And the place they say they will go if they leave, Austin, Texas.
Oh God, that'd be such a hipster football team.
That's crazy that they can do that. Like if I was the local government, I would just say this is happening, so we're going to propose a one-off tax rise to fund this, or they're gone, and then people would pay, right?
Oh, you're going to tax people more to keep this?
Yeah.
That's going to go down. I mean, the argument that the teams always have is that in the long run, it's a win for the local economy. So, yes, you give us some tax dollars now to build this stadium, but in return, the 8 home games you get out of the Bills and the concerts that get played at the stadium and all that. Because as part of them putting tax money into the stadium, you do get a certain ownership of the stadium itself. So they then either lease the stadium to the NFL team. They then have the way of having it available for concerts and stuff as a way of making other revenue. So the pitch from the ownership is, look, you're going to make money from this. Again, it falls a little bit into the messy category of I don't think billionaires running private businesses should be getting tax dollars with the argument of, hey, you're going to make money from, like, we're going to pump money into the economy. Because you could just make that argument about every single business. Now, I know a lot of businesses do get incentives and tax cuts and breaks for those very reasons. It just doesn't sit right for me when we're talking about that amount of money. But again, that doesn't make me sound a little bit Bill Simmonsy, because I know he had that really awful ad for his TV show Any Given Wednesday. Also terrible name for a TV show, but where he said, I believe that billionaires should pay for their own fucking stadiums. But I guess it's one of those areas where Bill Simmons and I really agree.
Kind of true. What was a similar? I remember. What was it? Amazon, when they were trying to select their new headquarters, or HQ2 or whatever it was called, and they were always going for one. They said, like, who's going to give us the biggest tax breaks, the biggest benefits, and then they just decided to split it into two and play the others against each other to get more value out of splitting it between the two. So cheeky.
And full circle, I think it was Austin that won that bid.
Oh, really?
I'm not joking. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, look, it's how Ireland runs its economy, right? So, I mean,
anything you can tax, we can tax cheaper.
Yeah, there's a logic to it. I get it, and I think what's really unfair from a sporting perspective that's different to other businesses is that it puts local government. It's a much more emotional topic, and so taxpayers are no longer saying, they're not looking at the actual, what is the long-term economic benefit of us having the Bills in Buffalo. It's just a bunch of people saying, I love the Bills, and if we have to slash the budget for books over the next 15 years so that I can watch Josh Allen throw super touchdowns on Sundays, I'm going to do it. I don't care if little Johnny can't read, so long as Josh is still playing in Buffalo. And that is the logic. And I'm not telling those people that they're dumb, because I would probably think the same thing if it was one of my teams possibly losing, because it would be the end of my interest in a team if they moved away from where I supported them from. I'm done.
That's some expensive books. To only lose books for 15 years for an NFL team.
Well, I mean, we're talking about
Eddie's got like the Dead Sea Scrolls like in Buffalo.
Well, up until now, yeah, the Buffalo lower school education, it's just first editions. It's
If the Bills move, where's little Johnny gonna jump and break a table at?
He can do that. I believe in Buffalo. They'll find a reason. Any other sports stories caught your eye over the past few days?
I guess maybe we can close the episode out with the closing ceremonies of the Olympics. It was quite amazing. Did you catch the closing ceremonies?
I did, yeah. I think I do have to address as the one sporting event that I wanted to touch on, just an awful final leg of the Great Britain's 4x100 meter relay. And the only reason I get why people say when an athlete's blown something that it's unfair to show them on camera. At the same time, I do think what's compelling about sports, and that what makes me actually love sports, is not only seeing people succeed and the joy, but also being able to relate to the disappointment. I think that's actually important, not in a way of, oh my God, I'm enjoying watching this person's life fall apart, but in actual fact that it's the raw human emotion that you are seeing at that moment is relatable for things that go on in your life. And maybe at an extreme that most of us don't have these singular moments where we've worked for 4 years to do something and in 45 seconds it's gone. But I don't think it's one of those things where when people say cut away, you don't want to see them crying. I think actually it's part of what I love about sport is being part of that emotional experience. But I did like that, I mean, very much the final leg. It was the British runner who kind of blew it in the final 30 meters. And then his teammates came to commiserate with him and try and pick him back up. But he very clearly understood that he had blown it and was just pushing them away and had no interest in anyone trying to say, hey, it's not your fault. I thought it was a very interesting dynamic to watch. And again, I understand why people say maybe you don't want that to be seen by millions. At the same time, I think it's showing you an emotion that is compelling, not just to laugh at, but also to kind of, tap into a bit.
I get what you mean. We mentioned it when we were talking about people that take off their medals in when they don't win and they essentially get their runners-up medal. And it's this idea that you're meant to savor defeat and loss and the sadness because you don't want to feel it again. It should motivate you and be a motivator. And I think Mbappe did the same thing when he missed the penalty for France as well. He didn't really want to be around anyone. And actually, it made me kind of respect the guy more because he was so distraught, essentially, not in terms of like falling to the ground in tears. It was just his realization of how much it meant to him. He didn't want people around him. And I agree. I mean, showing defeat makes you more compelled to never want to see it again in a way. It makes you be like, I don't want this feeling. I don't want to lose again. So next year you come back more determined. I don't think you turn away from that. I don't think that is you turn away from something happening like Christian Eriksen or a broken leg or an injury that is, bad, of course, but not someone sad. Like that's not the reason why you would do that.
Yeah, closing ceremony. Pretty. Oh, no,
having just seen the race, he does blow it.
Oh no, he completely.
Oh, he shits the bed. He shits the bed.
It's not as bad as you described it.
It's
not as if he hits a brick wall. It's just that he's clearly not as fast as the other guy.
Well, I think he also starts to lock up, which is, and not that I'm by any ways a sprint expert, but you see that moment when they kind of transition from fluid motion, where they're probably, even though they are very precisely thinking about where they're moving, but it's happening instinctively, to suddenly him trying to get things to work the way they need to work for him to go fast. And you can see that happen. And then, I mean, he blows it. You get a decent lead in the final leg of a 4x100. He's never going to get that chance again, which must be rough. I mean, it's got to be tough. Like we spoke about it, right, with the rowers in the Olympics, when it's, I let this team down, like very clearly me, it's going to be a tough one to deal with. But hey, great for that Italian sprinter. Won the 100 meters and the 4x100 meters, and I still got no idea what his name is, but good for him.
The new powerhouse of the running world, of the sprinting
world. Could bump into him
world.
tomorrow in the street and wouldn't recognize him. But great summer for him. But no, I thought the closing ceremonies were fine for closing ceremonies with no one in attendance.
I mean, well done to you, Eddie, of course. You found the value in 5-4 in the USA, topping the medal table.
Thank you, Sam. That's very gracious of you.
I have no opinion on this.
But you're right. A good tip from me.
Yes. The US won most golds and most overall medals.
But fun fact, how many world records were broken at the Olympics?
Over the course of the entire Olympics?
So this Olympics, how many world records are broken? And you get a bonus point for the sport that had the most broken.
So the issue is I don't know how many events were contested. I'll say 63.
I'm going to say 63. Both seems high and low to me.
So I'm also going to say 63. I'll give you a hint.
No, I don't want. No hints, because Frank didn't get a hint, and he's throwing 63 out there. So I will.
Well, your hint is the number 6.
Yeah. I'm gonna say 89.
Wow, that sounds high to me.
You
I don't
are
know.
both very high.
I love that my 63 made you go higher.
I love like
Oh, it definitely
80
did. If
world
you
records.
if you had said like 32, I would have probably gone like 46.
What a
then,
pinnacle of sport Tokyo was.
But then also part of me loves that Sam was introducing it as what an incredible number of world records were broken. We've then guessed really high. It's always that way of making the
Seven.
number.
Ruined
The
it.
answer is 7.
The answer is 22.
That seems
That
amazing
seems
to me
low.
because I know I saw at least 12 world records broken, and I didn't watch that much of the Olympics. So it's
Actually,
But key point
but
here.
you know what? World versus Olympic. I saw a lot in the swimming. I saw a lot of Olympic records broken, but not a lot of world records. So that might have skewed it now that I think about it.
I mean, as I touched on in our last podcast, I mean, in the women's team pursuit cycling, the world record was broken in the semifinal and then in the final. So I saw back to back the world record fall. And I think it was broken earlier in that event as well. I think it was broken 3 times.
So I probably only counted as once. That's BS.
So, yeah.
Well, it was
Unimpressive stat, Sam.
sport. Okay, I'll stop. All right. Cheers, everyone. See you Thursday.
Now, what I will say is interesting is that Great Britain does a great job of being level across the board. 22 golds, 21 silvers, 22 bronze. They are equally as good at being first loser, or second loser.
Consistency.
Japan, on the other hand, they seem to be either make or break with 27 golds, but only 14 silvers and 14 bronzes.
I mean, that's what happens with a host, right? Everything is planned for that moment. So obviously everyone's at like the pinnacle of the game, I guess.
I always find that to be a weird concept. As in, oh, this is a home Olympics. I'll try extra hard to be good this time around. Oh, it's in Paris next time? Fuck my career. Who cares?
But
Eddie, you might have a chance. It's in Paris.
True. I'll start training now. Here's an interesting thing. If you did have to compete in the next Olympics, so 3 years from now, and you can train for 3 years, and let's say you get Olympic funding starting from tomorrow.
Steroids?
Starting from tomorrow. Well, no, I mean you can do it.
Oh, am I allowed to do illegal things?
You might fail the drugs. Am I allowed to shoot all of my nearest rivals?
What's that film with Sacha Baron Cohen where he does that as the dictator?
Oh,
They just start the thing. No,
he shoots back at them. Yeah,
but he just shoots back at the 100-meter runner.
Which event do you think you would be most likely to medal in? I'm not saying that any of them are likely. I'm not trying to downplay the skills of any
Summer
Olympics. Paris 2024, 3 years from now.
I mean, we'll put Eddie in the BMXing. I'm trying to think of anything I might have like some semblance of a start with. That's the problem.
I think I actually have to. I have to throw out everything that I have some semblance of a start with because those athletic gifts are long gone. So all of the events that I would have maybe answered, I'd have a chance at when I was 18, are now gone.
What about like? I mean, it's still got the brain.
I've still got.
Was he going to play chess? That's not a sport.
What's my brain going to do? Hey, I ran that 100 meters faster in my mind, asshole.
I would. I'd probably go one of the sailing categories. I'd probably go for sailing. I used to sail a lot, so having another 3 years of solid Olympic funding kind of.
The strong move in the sailing too is that you could be in one of the duos. So you could kind of get carried by a superstar, where obviously you still have to be really good, but you might not have to be quite as good. Like if you have the best sailor in the world with you, and then if you think you could get yourself to just being pretty much Olympic standard, then maybe you can get through.
Here's a good one. What about the mixed relay or the mixed medley in the swimming, and you're on the final leg, but you're against the slowest swimmers in it. So
Well,
you're going to get the gold
yeah, but
because obviously, but you're against the
I don't think you
slowest people
understand
in the
how
leg.
you understand how a relay works, Sam.
No, the
'Cause-
medley in the swimming.
yeah, but
So you're the final part of it where you're swimming for the end, but they've decided that everyone else is going to be the slowest in it against you because they've just picked the quickest people. So who knows?
okay.
You might have a better run for it then.
But you're asking me, do I think in 3 years I could become one of the 50 fastest swimmers in the world?
Do you think? Yeah, I guess that's a athletic
And
question for you.
my answer is no.
I would say, I mean, I think I have to potentially do hammer throw because that's the event I've done the longest, and I think I can get back into the shape I was in when I was throwing. And actually, I'm probably in just as good a shape now. So I think that would be feasible. But I like the aspect of a team sport because you can rely on people more. But the only team sport I think I would be decent at is handball. I was always really good at handball
okay, yeah,
in high school.
we have to throw in some because right, you could stick me on the USA basketball team, and I'll just be the sub who never gets on, and I'll win the gold medal. So you got to turn yourself into like a starter on that team.
Team archery.
Sure. I mean, I think archery or shooting is probably the most likely in some respects. I think sailing was a good call.
Could you train for 3 years with archery? It'd be so boring.
I mean,
I don't know if I could physically do it.
If someone was paying for me to do it, sure.
So what you're saying, Frank, is you would turn down Olympic funding.
Depends on how significant the funding is, right? But now there was the famous case, right, of the British BMX, the girl who won gold in the BMX. She did not qualify for lottery funding, whereas her male counterpart did, and he got a silver and she got a gold. She crowdfunded her Olympic training and costs. I thought in the moment, I bet if you are a legitimate Olympian, you can get more money from crowdsourcing your funding than you can from pure Olympic funding. That the story of, hey, I'm one of the 5 best people in my sport, this is my dream, I need some help getting there, and they won't give me any Olympic funding, would mean that you probably get more money than you would have actually got to start off with. This might be a completely wrong
as well.
Yeah, this might be a completely incorrect theory, but I think everyone you know would give you a little bit of money, and probably you get some companies and stuff to chip in with a decent amount. So maybe that's how I start. I'm officially announcing my need for Olympic funding for Paris 2024.
Are you playing tennis?
Sport TBC.
See, the logic would be that tennis is where I'd stand the best chance, and I guess if I just dedicated my life to playing tennis for the next 3 years, that I think I could get to a standard where I wouldn't be embarrassed.
Against Djokovic?
Yeah, I think I could. I think I could
play
mostly
3 years, and you think you won't be embarrassed against Djokovic?
I'm not starting from scratch, Sam. I think I could get to a point where I would against Djokovic, I'd probably lose like 6-2, 6-2. I would hold serve for.
Oh wow! I would hold serve. Hold serve is, that's fine. I'm holding a couple of games a set as well, not like one at the start.
I think if I dedicated 3 years, really full on dedicated, I think I could hold serve 4 times.
There are he goes through 6-0, 6-0 on many a professional tennis player.
Yeah, but he has scouting reports.
3 years.
He doesn't have any game tape on me. You won't know what's coming. You won't even know.
You're an unknown. He doesn't
need game tape. He's gonna say, "Look at this fucking guy. I got him."
he wouldn't even know if I was left. I might warm up right-handed against him, then come up to serve first game left-handed. Took him by surprise.
I love the Ted Lasso approach he's got here. Like, if I do weird, quirky things, like, it's gonna mess with this Grand Slam winner's head. I'm sorry, Eddie, but that doesn't. No.
I wish I could put it to the test. However, it will have to go firmly in the category of
Well, we'll
never
tweet
to be
him.
proven.
We'll...
Until we get big enough
Ooh.
that we can ask Djokovic to play you.
No, but it not only requires that he plays me, it also requires, and we have to give two things to him. A, you're need to play this guy 3 years from now. B, you are going to have to fund his training to try and beat you for 3 years. So if you're willing to write him a check for €1 million and play him in a best of three set match 3 years from now, what an offer for Novak.
Eddie, maybe your real strategic move is to coach the men's football team.
Well, yeah, I'm not throwing in coaching gold medals.
But you say you're a better coach than.
Well, I'm definitely. Well, yeah, I mean, Great Britain doesn't even enter men's teams.
I know they don't, but France does, don't they?
They do, yeah. Gignac was their captain, which was a bit bizarre. Mbappe wanted to go, but they didn't let him.
What, because of his penalty miss?
No, just because of
We're not sure about the competence and quality of you.
A, I'm sure PSG didn't want him to go, and B, I just think overall just the wear and tear of you've just played the Euros, now you're going to do this, and then there's a World Cup on the horizon too. You're basically going to run out of time for you have a break, so it definitely makes sense. But I don't know. Speaking of football, though, my only other topic: did you see the tweet from Juventus and their women's team?
No.
They got a huge backlash for tweeting a picture of one of. I will send you the photo, and then we can get your instant reaction. I would tell people that we would stick this up on our social media, but nothing good will come of it easier. All I can say is it is a Juventus women's team player with a training cone on her head, and
oh my god,
doing an eye gesture in a way to make her look like an Asian person. It's and the fact that
that they got the emojis to do it.
The emoji,
yeah.
The picture is bad on many levels, but the fact that they seem to think it's funny enough to then mimic it in emoji form as the caption is insane.
So for the people, the emojis are Asian face emoji.
That's not what it's
That's
called.
not an Asian face. Oh no. I think that's the effect, Eddie, not the initial.
I'm trying to describe to him.
Yeah, but you can't describe it with the problem with the photo in the first place.
It's the closed eyes laughing face.
The emoji looks like the picture they've put up.
With also side
This is not the views of anyone else except Eddie here.
And then also two index fingers pointing towards him, as in the gesture of pulling your eyes.
You tried to describe racism essentially is brilliant.
It's hard to do without sounding
It's
racist.
really hard.
And I think I failed. But next time I'll try harder.
I know you failed.
It was a fail.
Anyway.
But why?
I don't know. Why all around? Why is the player doing it? Why is someone taking a photo of it? Obviously an official, someone working as a club, as a photographer of that training session. Then it getting passed on to the social media team. Then the social media team deciding to put it out. There's a lot of steps in that process where someone should have seen sense. It also stayed up for quite a long time. And then Juventus...
Yeah, I'm looking at the picture here, and in the picture I'm looking at, it says it had 526 retweets and 6,000 quote tweets and 1,000 likes. So that's up for a while.
It stayed up for a decent amount of time. Juventus has subsequently apologized. Adidas has come out and said that they were offended by it and that it's not what they stand for. Because I guess that's the downside too, right? Is that then you see Jeep and Adidas as the kit manufacturer and the main sponsor of Juventus kind of getting dragged into this because their logos are visible in the photograph. So, yeah, not very smart from Juventus. But I mean, when has the Italian football league and culture ever got into trouble for being vaguely racist before? But to a brighter note, I guess, if we don't have any other topics from the week, worth saying that our next episode will be our full Premier League season preview. Which, if you're looking for tips, either for prediction leagues that you're going into, or if you like having a anti-post Premier League bet, last season we pretty much nailed it. We would have got the league winner right from us, the tip of United finishing above Liverpool, Sheffield United going down, a whole host of nice little tips there. So very much worth listening to. Hopefully we back that up with another successful season.
All right. Well, with that, I guess I'll talk to you guys later.